From New York, Mr. Meeks is now recognized.
Thank you. And Madam Secretary, I want to thank you for your tireless effort to ensure that the United States financial system remains as strong from your role in helping us to avoid a catastrophic default, to containing spillover from the recent bank failures, to ensuring that the United States remains a global leader through our international policies and partnerships. And I know very much so we are fortunate to have you at the helm. Let me ask you, and I'm not in favor of sanctioning everything and everybody, but I do believe we need to be judicious in picking sanction targets. But there are a couple of energy companies in different parts of the world that are crucial sources of funds of despotic regimes. And I keenly focused on Rosatom, Russia's state nuclear company. Not only is it a major source of funds for the Putin regime and one of the only largely unsanctioned Russian energy companies, but they've also been playing a major role in courting a nuclear disaster at Zaporizhzhia nuclear plant in Ukraine. And I really believe that this company needs to be fully sanctioned to keep funds from Putin's army and to support our friends in Ukraine, and I've drafted legislation to that end. So I'd appreciate your thoughts on Rosatom. And further, I would invite you to speak about your leadership in coordinating and leading the international support effort of Ukraine and the importance of our continued support.
Well, I believe strongly, and President Biden has said, and I've said, that we stand with Ukraine and will do so for as long as it takes. And we're using our sanctions authority and our export controls and other authorities that we have to do all we can to support Ukraine in its fight against what's been a brutal invasion. I'm afraid that I can't comment specifically on Rosatom, but I would say that we have taken steps to designate a number of subsidiaries of that firm to degrade the firm's activities in some key areas. And we've designated officials from the company as recently as February. And let me just say that we continue to take further sanctions actions as we can justify, and in situations where we think we're able to mitigate unanticipated or unwanted consequences. And while I can't preview specific sanctions actions that we're going to take, we continue to take sanctions actions to degrade Russia's defense and industrial sectors.
Thank you. Let me jump to another question that I'd like to address, and that's debt relief for the developing world. On the one hand, many countries owe funds to the World Bank and other international financial institutions, but on the other, they often owe even more in opaque loans to China. I simultaneously believe it is crucial that the United States, one, provide necessary debt relief to starve off hunger and abject poverty to countries in Africa and South Asia, but two, to make sure that debt relief from global institutions is not used to pay off debts to China. Can you talk about the administration's approach to this dilemma?
Well, we're very concerned about the large and growing number of countries that require debt relief in order to restart economic growth. And these countries come to the IMF in order to obtain help, put in place structural reforms, and gain funding. And to qualify for those programs, they have to have a sustainable debt trajectory. And we've devised the so-called common framework to help firms manage their debt situations and to restructure debt. And we're disturbed that relatively few countries have signed up for common framework debt treatments, and among those that have, some have waited years and not been successful in being able to bring all the creditors to the table to restructure debt. And Zambia is a country that I'm particularly concerned about and recently revisited. It has a government that really wishes to restart growth and to be able to borrow, to invest, to promote economic growth, and it can't do so without that. And China is not coming to the table. We're working
The gentleman-
very hard to change.
Gentleman's time has expired. The gentleman